diamonds have always been sold more for its dream. So I call all of us sitting here as dream merchants. We are actually selling a dream. We're not selling a product. We are not selling, otherwise you're just selling a stone. And that's what right now the dilemma this industry is in, because it's still all commoditized. The diamond dream, which was built over the years, over 100, 150 years of De Beers operations, and the way De Beers actually built different markets all over the world, it was all about selling a dream. And that's what they managed to do in different markets. And so what we need to rekindle at this point in time is the diamond dream, which somewhere is collapsing in a consumer's mind, right? Because for them, diamonds have always been up there, and have they remained there? Or do we need to rekindle that dream and actually bring that back again in their minds, that this is where diamonds belong? And it's irrespective of whether it's lab grown or natural diamonds. I'm not talking about that at all, because I personally feel that today diamond industry is at about $76 billion worth across the globe. That's the official figure. And if lab grown and natural diamonds come together, and the kind of marketing that they can do and build that dream, actually the whole target has to be that how together we can take it to 100 billion.
I think diamonds surpass most other alternatives that there are in the world.
But over the last 18 months, it has come down in value.
And the 18 months,
how do you see that future?
And the 18 months before that, they went up 30% in value. So
that's what the chart says. In 22 years, basically it's come back to the same zero level.
And so, that is not the primary purpose for anyone who is investing or buying a diamond or owning a diamond.
Sure.
So I wouldn't worry about the prices not staying at 25% increase every year as a big worry for the natural diamonds business at all. Because I don't think diamonds are sold because they will give a 30% return every year. They are sold because that person wants to have a 2 crore rupee luxury product that he or she can wear on their hand every single day, and that they can ensure that they feel the wealth that they have in their bank account.
And over the centuries, if you look at, diamond has been an eternal symbol of love. It is not just for its beauty, but I think it is one of the hardest substance mankind has ever discovered it. Okay, and if I recall, the first time I saw a diamond was in the finger of my grandmother, and that when she looks at that ring, I could see the love for what she had for my grandfather, and that ring went to my mother, and then from my mother it has come to my wife. So it is an eternal symbol of love. Okay. Now people from different industries coming up together and saying that, okay, it is not a great investment. Of course it is not a great investment. If you're looking out for imagine my wife, dear wife, I give you this necklace. When it value goes 5 times up, I need to take it out. Nobody buys jewelry for that. Okay.
As a part of legacy I'm coming from, as a 6th generation, Mr. Shiv Narayan Ji was the head jeweler towards 7th Nizam of Hyderabad, Mir Usman Ali Khan. He was the last jeweler in his kingdom. And so as you talk about how we design and how we do the things, how we get the premium prices for it, since coming from that legacy, we believe that any piece of jewelry can be so manufactured, keep it in mind that we make a story behind it, and every story has an emotion. Living in India, jewelry is not only an investment, it is an emotion. As Mr. Amit said, what husband give to wife or a son give to his mother. If I talk about my family, the ring which I am wearing, the diamond is coming from my forefathers. The ring changes because of the size, but the diamond, because now this has an emotion. And in the same way, when we make when we craft some masterpieces, keep it in mind that today what we are making is one of its kind. It could not repeat easily. And when you're passing this kind of necklaces or any product to the next generation, that will have a exceptional value.
Product differentiation through design was the key go-to, because at the end of the day, customers walking into a jewelry store to buy jewelry, what comes in that jewelry is the second component of why they're walking into your store. But it is that fine piece of jewelry. Is that what I want? Is that what fits my budget? Is that what I'm craving for? Is that fulfilling my aspiration of wearing that particular piece of jewelry? That's where the premium lies. That's where the branding lies. So I think design plays an important role in the brand building of everything. And I often say this, that in our jewelry space, there are very, very few brands that have, when we walk out, whether it's an LV or a Tory Burch, we walk with pride and we wear the brands on ourselves. We are brand ambassadors of every other product, whether it's Rolex, Omega, Ferrari, Audi, everything, right? But jewelry, there are very few brands that have been able to create that. There is only the Bulgaris, the Cartiers, and now the Tiffany's of the world that have come up with products that allow you to flaunt the brand. Otherwise it's just generic. So I think that is a space where branding will play a very, very important role going forward, and that I think is going to be the business of the future.
To my fellow GIA alumni, your presence here today reflects the strength of our community and our shared passion for the gem and jewelry industry. This event promises to be exciting, enriching experience filled with thoughtful discussions, meaningful networking opportunities, and moments to connect and collaborate. It is also a wonderful chance to make new friends and reinforce old bonds within our vibrant and ever-growing community. Let us all work together to make this event a memorable one. Thank you once again. Really means a lot that everyone's come here, and I think as time goes, you're going to see the room fill up even more. So that's it from me. I'll ask Kavita to take it further.
Thank you, Somil. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kavita Vaghani, associated with Tableau Jewels in the creation and curation of fine diamond jewelry. As a proud GIA alumni from Carlsbad, it's my privilege to introduce our distinguished panelist and moderator for tonight's discussion on diamond industry at an inflection point, navigating your journey. Our moderator, Dr. Prasad Kapre, beginning his journey with De Beers in 1995, Dr. Kapre has played a vital role in launching some of India's most successful diamond jewelry brands, including Nakshatra, Azmi, Arisia, Sangini, and Anant. His vast experience and deep jewelry industry insights make him the perfect choice to guide us through the evening's discussion. Please come. Yeah. I'd like to call upon Mr. Amit Pratihari, the Managing Director of De Beers India and Forever Mark India. Mr. Pratihari brings over 2 decades of expertise in apparel and fashion retailing. Since joining De Beers India's core team in 2011, his strategic vision and leadership have been instrumental in driving the brand's growth and success. Please, Mr. Amit. Mr. Devansh Shah, a third-generation partner at Venus Jewels. Since 2018, Mr. Shah represents one of the world's leading supplier of premium polished natural diamonds. His innovative perspective have significantly contributed to the growth of Venus Jewels and the evolution of natural diamond jewelry industry. Mr. Devansh, please. Mr. Tushar Agarwal, Managing Director of Shiv Narayan Jewellers. Mr. Agarwal's 20+ years of experience, artistic vision, and dedication to excellence have propelled his brand to new heights, consistently setting benchmarks for craftsmanship and quality. Mr. Tushar, please come forward. Ms. Pooja Sheth Madhavan, Founder and Managing Director of Limelight Diamonds. Ms. Madhavan is a trailblazer in the lab-grown diamond jewelry space. Since founding Limelight Diamond in 2019, she has successfully carved out a luxury niche for CVD diamond jewelry, leading the way in sustainable innovation and design. Please. We are privileged to have such a remarkable panel with us tonight. Their collective expertise and leadership have not only shaped the diamond and jewelry industry, but continue to inspire and guide its future. Thank you all for joining us. Let's embrace this opportunity to learn, connect, and grow together as a community. I look forward to an engaging and insightful discussion ahead. Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me? So, good evening, everyone. We have a very interesting panel, and more than that, very interesting topic for tonight. And I think we all agree that the diamond industry is at an inflection point at this stage. And when we say that, what is the inflection point are we talking about? It's basically the turning point for the industry. Now, from here on, either it will go up, which is up above the sky, so high, like a diamond in the sky, or it can also go to Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. So the choice is going to be ours. And while we were discussing this and trying to say that how are we going to navigate the future, obviously all of us want diamonds to be up there in the sky for sure. And I think that's what all of us as part of the industry aspire for. But so does the consumer, actually. And that's the beauty about diamonds, because diamonds have always been sold more for its dream. So I call all of us sitting here as dream merchants. We are actually selling a dream. We're not selling a product. We are not selling, otherwise you're just selling a stone. And that's what right now the dilemma this industry is in, because it's still all commoditized. The diamond dream, which was built over the years, over 100, 150 years of De Beers operations and the way De Beers actually built different markets all over the world, it was all about selling a dream. And that's what they managed to do in different markets. And I was fortunate enough to be in part of that journey with Nakshatra, Asmi, Arisia, Sangini, and all of that. But having said that, so what we need to rekindle at this point in time is the diamond dream, which somewhere is collapsing in a consumer's mind, right? Because for them, diamonds have always been up there, and have they remained there? Or do we need to rekindle that dream and actually bring that back again in their minds, that this is where diamonds belong? And it's irrespective of whether it's lab grown or natural diamonds. I'm not talking about that at all, because I personally feel that today diamond industry is at about $76 billion worth across the globe. That's the official figure. And if lab grown and natural diamonds come together, and the kind of marketing that they can do and build that dream, actually the whole target has to be that how together we can take it to 100 billion. Because it's been fluctuating between 70 to 80 billion for the last 15 years. It hasn't really moved much. And I know it's difficult because it's a big number that we're talking about. But nonetheless, if we can take it to 100 billion, how can we do that? And to do that, of course, we have the panelists here. I wanted to make sure that we have every player of the diamond pipeline. So we have the mining company, we have the cutting and polishing manufacturers and of polished diamonds. We have designing and manufacturing, and of course, then we also have branding and marketing. So the whole idea is that at every stage, whether we go up above the sky or whether it's a Humpty Dumpty, had a great fall. Either ways, where do we stand today, and what are in their mind, how do we navigate the future? I mean, that's the crux or the background to this whole discussion. When De Beers used to do that marketing and always has been doing the marketing over the years, it was all about talking about rarity and also about imagine there are a few facts of diamonds if I talk about. It's all about selling a dream, as I said. Either ways, I can say, ये तो 1 carat का diamond है, इसका ये दाम है, and that's it, and leave it there, which is what at the end is happening. But the same thing, if you actually sell it in a matter of a dream. So what is that dream that I'm talking about when it comes to natural diamonds? Now, every natural diamond is as unique as your fingerprints, or as unique as the consumer who's wearing it, right? Because no two diamonds are alike. This is a fact of life. The other fact of life is also the natural diamonds were, found deep within the Earth's crust 3 billion years ago. 3 billion years bolna bada aasan hai, but what it actually means is 300 crore years, and which means we are right now sitting only in 2025. So you imagine going back to 300 crore saal. So I'm actually, if you look at it, older than the Himalayas, older than the dinosaurs that roam the earth, and blah, blah, blah. So it's all about selling a dream. So what you're wearing on your fingers is actually was formed deep within the Earth's crust 300 crore years ago. That's fact number one. Fact number two is, if I'm saying that it is as unique as the person wearing it, and I'm not lying because no two diamonds are alike. So what it means is that 3 billion years ago, somebody up there thought about, let's say me, that in 2025, Prasad is going to wear this diamond. So, it gives you goosebumps because that's what selling a dream means. So this is the way, one has to build that aspiration, which has been done over the years, and it needs to be continued to be done. Somewhere I think it's not being done at the moment, but that's where we are, and that's the whole discussion that we're going to have. To start with, from De Beers' perspective, is what I wanted to understand is, as I have been going through a lot of different reports on mining side, and what it very clearly says is the mining numbers have really come down over the years. It used to be 151 million, in 2015. Today it's at about 111 million, and by 2050, is going to come down to as low as 14 million. This is one of the reports which says, I don't know, you can throw light on that, whether how far it's true and how correct it is. The reason for that is that ultimately it's a natural resource which is getting depleted. The mines are getting depleted, and most of the mines are actually shutting down, right? And over the years, as of today, again, officially, there are 74 mines. It will come down to only 10 mines operating by 2050, which is just another 25 years away. So that's just one generation away, the next generation. So that's, something that the so-called reports say. So from De Beers' perspective, where are we on the mining, and how do you see the supply of natural diamonds, which is going to continue? Can you throw some light on that?
First of all, thank you, Prasad, and thank you, everybody. Thank you, GIA, for having us, and it's an absolute honor. First of all, I think I wish everyone Happy New Year. I think this new year brings us a lot of opportunity, positivity, and I'm sure we will find a way to how we navigate through this challenging time. Okay. Prasad, you asked me about mining. I'll take a detour, and I have a habit of taking I'm a long distance runner, so I love coming to the point, but I run a little longer. So I think when somebody describes De Beers as a mining company, I feel it is a little understatement in a way, because I think it's a diamond desire building company. We of course build mine discovered diamond, but also we build desire for wearing it. When coming to the point wherein what kind of mines are there, how it is mine, how do we see the longevity of the mines? Actually, these are actually a finite resource. Someday it will get obsolete, and right now there are a couple of mines which has been not getting, it's not that there is not diamond are there. Diamonds are there, but it doesn't make commercial viable to mine it. And in the new era of mining, we are getting smarter to how do we mine. So that's where the technology is playing a role. There is enough mine, at least I think we will see the generation I am living in, and I think my friend Devansh, I'm sure he will see a good life of natural diamond and going forward. So coming to the point, there is enough mine, and I think the biggest commercial mine which is coming up in Angola, De Beers is already committing a large amount of money there. And also there is a new way of mining. We're doing marine mining. We are not only one of the largest miner, but also a largest ship mining company. We have fabulous way, and the good part is that almost 60 to 70% of those diamonds are gem quality. So from that space, so I see definitely no constraint in supplies. But even if it does, I think it brings more positivity to the category. I think what we need to do is that how do we do business differently? Okay, so that's where we need to talk, and probably I'll keep reserve for rest of the conversation.
Okay, so coming to Devansh, I mean, he's assuring us of the supply. So as long as the supply is going to be there, that's great. But from cutting and polishing industry and from the polished diamonds industry, since yesterday I've seen on WhatsApp University, the graph which has shown that for the past 22 years, actually the polished diamonds haven't given any returns whatsoever. It's a zero ROI, which they have been saying, right or wrong. Again, I'm not debating that. And plus, there was another Economic Times report saying that it's not a great investment and you could have invested somewhere else and blah blah blah. So that all that is being said in the industry, all that is being circulated on WhatsApp, and somewhere it's given a challenge to the industry itself, and somewhere it puts that negativity in our minds as industry players. So from a polished perspective, where do you see the diamond industries today, and how do you see the future building up?
I think first of all, many thanks for having me, inviting me to such a panel. I feel very humbled to have such a nice discussion that I can be a part of. I think from a polished perspective, diamonds having a 0% return, as you call it, is compared with other luxury products that could be considered as alternatives, which have minus 100% return. So if you look at it from that perspective, there is no guarantee that any other investment will also hold its value for the next 10, 20, 40 years. But at the same time, there is very, very few luxury products in the world that fit in this very high luxury segment and still hold its value. And I think that is not also the main reason why people are purchasing the product. They're not buying diamonds and just putting them in their safe to grow money on. The main reason people want to use and purchase and invest and own diamonds is to ensure that they are able to express themselves in the best possible manner. And in that, meeting point between being able to use a luxury product and it holding its value, I think diamonds surpass most other alternatives that there are in the world.
But over the last 18 months, it has come down in value.
And the 18
how do you
months,
see that future?
And the 18 months before that, they went up 30% in value. So
that's what the chart says. In 22 years, basically, it's come back to the same zero level.
And that is not the primary purpose for anyone who is investing or buying a diamond or owning a diamond.
Sure.
So I wouldn't worry about the prices not staying at a 25% increase every year as a big worry for the natural diamonds business at all. Because I don't think diamonds are sold because they will give a 30% return every year. They are sold because that person wants to have a 2 crore rupee luxury product that he or she can wear on their hand every single day, and that they can ensure that they feel the wealth that they have in their bank account. The share certificates won't make them feel
so it's
that
not for
way
investment,
every day.
but it's the aspirational value that it has.
Yes, and investment is like the third, fourth, fifth, reason.
Yeah.
That's like an also good to have reason that it will hold its value, because there are not so many available in the world.
Sure.
When you described diamond, actually I was carried away and I forgot in the flow of my thought to tell you. Let's take a step back. What is this diamond about? Okay, you told it takes billions of years to formation and everything.
Yeah.
For me, I think once it is discovered, diamond is just not a diamond. It is a piece of art. If you look at the artisan, the craftsman, when they cut the diamond, okay, it is science and it's an art, and Devansh can talk about it. And I think they are the best in the industry when it comes to cutting and polishing. It's a piece of art. And over the centuries, if you look at, diamond has been an eternal symbol of love. It is not just for its beauty, but I think it is one of the hardest substance mankind has ever discovered it. Okay, and if I recall, the first time I saw a diamond was in the finger of my grandmother, and that when she looks at that ring, I could see the love for what she had for my grandfather, and that ring is went to my mother, and then from my mother it has
Sure.
come to my wife.
The
So
heirloom.
it is an eternal symbol of love. Okay. Now people from different industries coming up together and saying that, okay, it is not a great investment. Of course, it is not a great investment. If you're looking out for a, like, imagine my wife, dear wife, I give you this necklace. When it goes, value goes 5 times up, I need to take it out. Nobody buys jewelry for that. Okay. Point number 1. Point number 2 is, like, if you look at any luxury product, we talk about luxury, and I was talking to a few of my friends here. When you talk about luxury, first thing comes about the brand. You say Cartier of the world, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, and everything. Tell me one non-branded component which is reflecting luxury, or it stands for luxury. That is none other than natural diamond. Like, different segment of retailer, different kind of product, selling different product, same component. Okay, but it is sold, it remains as a component, it is a symbol of luxury. So you cannot commoditize those emotion, you cannot commoditize the love, you cannot commoditize the art, okay, and the eternal symbol of love.
That's what we.
yeah.
I've been talking about the diamond dream, and I think somewhere that dream is coming because nobody has done the marketing for the last 10, 15 years. So that's it. Anyway, coming to Tushar. Tushar, you have been part of one of the suppliers to the Nizam family. You know, I believe you are the 6th generation. So obviously you're looking at luxury, you're looking at the rarity factor, you're looking at the super lux, as we call it. And so you have a different proposition, irrespective of what the value of diamond is, right? You have mastered the art of selling your designs and, of course, manufactured very intrinsically so that the end customer is willing to pay that price irrespective of where the diamond prices are going today, up or down. You command your price. Now, how do you do that, and how have you built that?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thanks to Team GIA for having me here as a panelist. And as a part of legacy I'm coming from, as a 6th generation, Mr. Shiv Narayan Ji was the head jeweler towards 7th Nizam of Hyderabad, Mir Usman Ali Khan. He was the last jeweler in his kingdom. And so as you talk about how we design and how we do the things, how we get the premium prices for it.
That's right.
Since coming from that legacy, we believe that any piece of jewelry can be so manufactured, keep it in mind that we make a story behind it, and every story has an emotion. Living in India, jewelry is not only an investment, it is an emotion. As Mr. Amit said, what husband give to wife or a son give to his mother. If I talk about my family, the ring which I am wearing, the diamond is coming from my forefathers. The ring changes because of the size, but the diamond, because now this has an emotion. And in the same way, when we make when we craft some masterpieces, keep it in mind that today what we are making is one of its kind. It could not repeat easily. And when you're passing this kind of necklaces or any product to the next generation, that will have a exceptional value. And for that, we always keep a story in mind for what we are manufacturing. Let's say we started promoting old European cut diamonds, because I'm coming from that legacy where there were no cut and polished diamonds. There were old European cut diamonds which doesn't have a proper facets on it. What we talk about a complete facet today on a machine cut diamonds. So we are promoting that kind of diamonds when we talk about the legacy, which doesn't run on the wrap.
Correct.
The diamonds which we manufacture in our jewelry, we don't, that is our price, I mean to say. We have a negotiation with our customers, but we don't have a fact from the customer asking that this is the wrap price. So in this competitive
you
world,
managed to beat the wrap price by actually being innovative in a way.
Yeah.
You know, you are still selling that dream, which can't be compared. So that exclusivity, the rarity, you know, is something that's what you have managed to build.
Yes.
Coming to Pooja, Pooja, actually, I know, of course, you have a lab-grown diamond jewelry brand, but it's not so much about the lab-grown. But what I wanted to understand from you is you have created a brand, and definitely we all agree that the future is going to be about brands. So it's not going to be generic jewelry, or it's not going to be just a diamond like a commodity that one is going to sell, whether it's natural or lab grown. The fact is, everything is going to be a branded product. Now, when you say a brand, it's basically, again, the customer value proposition that one needs to do it, whether it's through the emotional connect or whether it's through any other means. So how have you built it, and first of all, what was your thought process when you got into branding? Why did you build a brand, and how do you see the future, how you want to take this forward?
Sure. First, say very happy New Year to all, and thank you GIA and for giving me this opportunity. Thank you Prasad sir for allowing me to do this. And so I think in terms of my experience so far, I obviously I don't even belong to the jewelry industry. I was in the investment banking space, so not even from the branding background whatsoever. But I think the lab grown diamond as a product really inspired me. I had an intrinsic passion, and what I believed is that I think brands are something that even as a young millennial, everything that today I think of, I breathe, eat, sleep, is all about, at the end of the day, the consumer experience that any company offers to me, and that is what is summarized as a brand. I don't think when we even when we were having conversations earlier before this panel event, we spoke about a lot of brands. We spoke about Ferrari, we spoke about LV, we spoke about thousand other brands. But the fact is that an LV or a Prada or a Gucci, none of them actually talk about the underlying commodity or the leather. Right? It's not that LV is selling a different leather compared to a Gucci. The underlying commodity is not what's making LV. It's the design, it's the entire experience of what LV is giving to the end consumer is what is LV calling a premium for. Today, let's take the fashion industry. We have the Zaras of the world, and we also have the Ralph Laurens of the world. They both sell cotton. Right? They both, in fact, sell more polyester than cotton, given technologies come in. But a proposition that Zara gives versus a proposition that Ralph Lauren gives in terms of its design experience is what consumers are wanting to pay a premium for. So when we also started, our brand journey, I think product differentiation through design was the key go-to, because at the end of the day, customers walking into a jewelry store to buy jewelry, what comes in that jewelry is the second component of why they're walking into your store. But it is that fine piece of jewelry. Is that what I want? Is that what fits my budget? Is that what I'm craving for? Is that fulfilling my aspiration of wearing that particular piece of jewelry? That's where the premium lies. That's where the branding lies. So I think design plays an important role in the brand building of everything. And I often say this, that in our jewelry space, there are very, very few brands that have, when we walk out, whether it's an LV or a Tory Burch, we walk with pride and we wear the brands on ourselves. We are brand ambassadors of every other product, whether it's Rolex, Omega, Ferrari, Audi, everything, right? But jewelry, there are very few brands that have been able to create that. There is only the Bulgaris, the Cartiers, and now the Tiffany's of the world that have come up with products that allow you to flaunt the brand. Otherwise it's just generic. So I think that is a space where branding will play a very, very important role going forward, and that I think is going to be the business of the future.
Okay, so Amit, actually, the fact of the matter is that there are so-called 6 different reasons or the motivations for which a woman buys diamonds, right? And way back, we had addressed those when we were doing the marketing for diamonds. So for different motivations, we had different brands like Nakshatra, which was all about feeling beautiful, so that's why Aishwarya Rai was there. And similarly, we had Arisia, which was all being center of attention. A woman likes to be a center of attention at a party, and that's why it was all 1 carat plus kind of diamonds. And similarly, so on and so forth. So, for different motivations, we have different brands, we have different consumer segments. And that's how the dream is always up there, so you create those aspirations by selling those kind of dreams. Where do you see today what De Beers, and forget De Beers, as an industry, what one really needs to do to build this further and ensure that the dream of diamonds remains intact and it's sort of up there rather than it collapses sometime soon. So can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, so I'll just give you a little bit broad background. You know, today we talk about, if you look at, I'm talking purely on Indian market. If you look at current economy, we are at a $3.5 trillion. Okay, so imagine by 2030, McKinsey report and a conservative way will be at $7.9 trillion economy. So what does that mean? It means there is one more India getting added from an economy point of view. Okay, so if I ask you a question, if I increase your salary or the income into 2, okay, so is your food habit going to change? The answer is definitely not, because I eat dosa, I will probably eat ghee dosa or butter dosa. That's max, but if I'm eating a dosa lover, I'll eat a dosa. So money is not going to food per se. So what is the next thing? The next thing is that how do you look? How do you feel? Okay, look, you will upgrade your brand. Buyer of Zudio will probably buy to Westside. Buyer will go to Zara. Zara's will go to Massimo Dutti and so forth. You upgrade in how you look. How you feel is where we fit in very well. Okay, that's where the jewelry is all about. And if you look at estimation of Indian jewelry market is a $85 billion market. Okay, that include all precious jewelry. Yeah? So by 2030, it is estimated to be $120 billion. Okay, so that is our recent GJPC report. It says $140 billion. So that's a substantial amount of growth coming in. So in that, if I break it further, diamond jewelry would be probably 10%. $8.5 billion as we speak now is expected to be 18 billion. Some report says $22 billion, but our estimate, we will stick to that. It is around $18 billion. So there is definitely a growth. And this growth is not coming from anywhere. This is coming from the change in the lifestyle, the change in economical status of an individual. And if you look at our category coming further deep dive, you know, who are the main buyer? Main buyers are the women. Okay. If you look at the women economy, probably worldwide, it is the largest economy, bigger than US and China economy also. So if you look at India, if you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, women are coming out, you know, they are doing business, they have money, they have decision-making power, and they don't need any validation to buy. Okay, so they're their own decision maker. So if you look into that decision-making process and what category of product we are selling, we are always believed that India is a very wedding-centric brand. Okay, but if you look at out of that $120 billion, only $40 billion is a wedding. For me, the definition of wedding jewelry is a locker jewelry, like you wear on those large big pieces and then you don't use it every day. But the self-purchase category, which is estimated to be $80 billion by 2030, that's where the space is. So within that space, okay, there is a change happening, you know, from self-purchase. What is the everyday jewelry? So if you see the everyday jewelry is out of that $80 billion, $50 billion is the everyday jewelry segment. And these are the jewelries wherein there are a few brands who are doing well in that segment, wherein it's more transformational jewelry. I can wear it in the office, I can go the evening parties and so forth, so on. So that is the space wherein there is a big growth happening. And a lot of the large organized retailer, they are coming with small format stores and building on trying to encash on that.
You mentioned about, branding and creating those brands, because see, the figures that you're talking about is going to be the natural growth, because that's the rate at which the GDP is growing, right? So how do we beat or go beyond that? Because that's what is building the dream and that's what the branding needs to do. And that's where the value proposition for the end consumer comes in. So do you say that we all need to build those brands, build those customer value proposition? And if the economy is going to grow at 7-8%, then how do we build it to maybe 15%? Because that's where the real growth is going to be. It's not about growing along with the economy. So that's where we need that direction.
Yeah. So I tell you, I'm telling you a long story. When I opened the first Forever 21 store in India, like that time I was to be in Middle East, and I was a blue-eyed boy of the founder that time called Don Chang. And when we came to India, I said, and I'm always a believer in India, although I was living there. And I said, India is a growing market and everything. We came for a tour in India. We went to Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, and we walked into Shoppers Stop and Lifestyle. He said, Amit, this brand is not going to work here. You're coming at a premature decision. I said, why are you saying that? You see in the half of the merchandise in the store is ethnic wear. So culturally, we are very different than the Western template. Okay. So what message I learned from then and what I believe in that, what it taught me that point of time is stand true, is knowing your customer, what kind of customer you're dealing with. Okay. So if you look at the modern Indian woman, okay, it's about the social economic status actually define their freedom. For us, the freedom definition is not just the way what money I'm making, but how do I express them? So if you look at in this room, I think this industry is blessed one, but in one way it is not blessed. Is not too many women entrepreneur, in fact, or the employment. If we deal with 90% of women, but you see the audience is pretty less. But I'm seeing last 14, 15 years, I see a lot of people coming in. Yeah. So coming to the point is again, what is the product offering you're giving? It combination of couple of things. It's what product placement you are, like how you want to place your product. Just to give an example, this water bottle here, probably at a normal department store is sold at 10 rupees, hypothetically. Go to the airport, it is 100 rupees. You go to a 5-star hotel, it is 500 rupees. So you need to make sure that where you are trying to position your brand per se. Then you have to understand design language, and Tushar is a great example of that. When you see his jewelry, he has created a niche for himself. Absolutely. Even been in the same space of diamond or jewelry. Okay. So one is that where you want to position, what kind of design language you're looking at, and what is that audience end of the day. Plus, what is your business model? Are you want to be a phygital or a digital or a omni? Is the new things what you're trying to do. So I think combination of both things and knowing your audience is a very critical part. In terms of brand, what they have to do, they have to take the basic things. You need to be sure about the product you're offering. You create your own niche, understand your audience, and go after that. Okay, and I think with new age technology, with performance marketing and so forth, so on, actually you can evaluate whether your product, what you're talking, you don't need a family validation. You need more likes. Okay, then how do you reach that? So I think probably it is the same product, but the new way of selling is important. Understanding those things.
Okay. Coming to you, Devansh, in terms of the polished goods that we talk about. Do you see that there is going to be a disruption that is likely to happen in the polished goods? And is there something innovative which is likely to happen in the future? Because again, if at all you're going to compete with lab grown, or if you're going to compete with any other product, you need to have its own identity. So do you think anything of that sort is happening, or is likely to happen, or it should happen? I mean, other ways.
I think very nicely Amit Bhai explained that diamonds is the only non-branded product that still is, non-company branded product that is still a brand for most consumers. And I think this kind of feel of, the diamond dream is depleting. It's not the first time that such a, thought process has come to the industry. There have been many other products that have tried to challenge the position of a diamond dream for the wearer, and most products have settled in a different space. There has been Moissanites, CZ, American Diamonds. I remember my grandfather told us this story 2 years ago when we were discussing about this in the family, and he's like, in that time there were actually people who didn't turn up at office at their workplace for months together, because they succumbed to the belief that this new product will challenge the position that natural diamonds have held in the consumer's eyes for years. And he then tells us that despite having many such occasions in history, this is probably one of the very few, if not the only product that has held its position in the consumer's mind and the value in the consumer's mind, despite anything that has tried to challenge it.
So the challenge here is that, diamonds otherwise doesn't have any utility value whatsoever.
Correct.
Right? I mean, my life can continue without diamonds forever. So it's absolutely...
And your life can also continue without a LV bag, and it can also continue without a Rolls Royce car.
Yeah, so that's what I'm coming to. So ultimately, these are all aspirational that one has to build in. Now that, there is going to be competition from lab-grown diamonds, plus the so-called diamonds, natural diamonds losing its intrinsic value, also in terms of with lab grown coming in, is going to lose its rarity value, at least in consumer's mind. So where do you think, how do you retain that value within your natural diamonds? So is it in terms of, coming up with a different cut with a value proposition, of course, because everything has to have a value proposition. Do you see any of that happening in the near future?
I think this is one of the industries and one of the products that lives on it being valuable for centuries more than it lives on today's new created story and new created brand. The new created brand can optimize the utility of the product and the feel of the product, but the fundamentals usually have not changed a lot. So there is a lot of innovation that we are seeing happening in the way the story of the diamond is being told, in the way the selection of diamonds have taken place, with, for example, Forever Mark saying that these are only 1% of the world's diamonds, Tiffany telling their own way of selecting their precious diamonds, and so many family jewelers also telling amazing stories of how they, and how and why they selected that piece for the customer. So we're definitely needing to move away from the commoditization of the product and selling the product based on its
But how do you do that?
certificate.
I mean, that's the question.
So I think this product has the best potential because every piece is unique, and because there are so many different ways you can approach the product for different purposes. If I am buying a D flawless type 2A diamond, I fit into a certain set of consumer segment, and if I am buying a IVS category diamond, I'm still buying a natural diamond, but I'm setting in a different category, and that is what a brand needs to answer. If I am a consumer looking for purchasing a diamond, I have a dream within me of getting the best diamonds in the world, and if there is a brand that tells me that we choose the best diamonds in the world and this is how we do it, and it matches what you are looking out for, if we can answer that customer's need or want or requirement, and if I do it consistently, and if I tell people that I will do it consistently, that's the brand that I'm building.
But here again, I mean, I would like to add here that the consumer actually buys the diamond for its brilliance, the sparkle, and the fire. They don't understand D flawless or that terminology, and even if they do understand, it's still they don't know, because those are the features of the diamond. But what it in turn brings the benefits to the consumer, they still don't understand till you tell them in their language that this is what is going to have the brilliance or the better sparkle or a better fire in a diamond. I mean, I personally feel that our industry needs to promote that even further, so that consumer actually comes for that. Now, whether it's through having a brilliant cut diamond, maybe so.
But I also believe that the customers are actually not buying the sparkle, brilliance, and fire alone. The main thing that they're buying is value. The main thing that I have to think about when I want to gift my wife on her on our 5th anniversary is how much I value our relationship and how much I want to invest or express the value that I feel of our relationship. And that's where diamonds have come in as the one of the most beautiful ways to feel and express that value. And if it was just sparkle, brilliance, and fire, then many other products would have overtaken diamonds already, because this is not something that is the easiest to craft or the easiest to work with. And the only reason people still want to get back to feeling valuable and precious is the reason that most consumers still want themselves to have and own such valuable diamonds.
Okay, and ultimately it's a gift of love. So you can't have a price tag to your love.
So Prasad, I actually have there is a theory called diamond water paradox. I don't know how many people have read it. So water is the most essential thing for your body, but you pay more price for your diamond. Okay, so it is for water is essential for life. Okay, maybe diamond is not essential, but we still pay more price. Its only reason is that it's desirability. Okay, you would go out of the way to express your love. Ultimately, we are all human. Okay, not everything is calculated on a calculator or investment. Okay, so probably I'll just give you an apparel. Half of my life I worked in apparel industry, footwear and watches and so forth, so on. A shirt is a shirt. We say they look the same, but why you buy from a Thomas Pink, not from Zudio? Okay, a guy who's economically able to express his love at a Zudio will go and buy from Zudio. Okay, a guy who can afford a Thomas Pink will go buy a Thomas Pink. So I think as a brand or anybody, we have to work only on one thing: is your positioning. Two is your desirability. If we as an industry, there are saying, De Beers used to do generic campaign, we build desirability. I think days are changing.
Of course.
That era is changing. Now brands are becoming irrelevant, and the positioning of brand is so critical. Component, it doesn't matter. Recent interview in Surat, I was there. The praise guy, again, they pounced on me on the pricing. I asked the gentleman, sir, do you have a car? He said, yes, I have a car. I said, which car you have? He said, I have an Alto. I said, okay, when you went to buy a car, did you check what is the price of the tire? He said, no, sir. Did you check the price of the steering? He said, no, sir. Did you check the pricing of the seat cover? I said, no, sir. But you bought a car, right? So when you look at the ultimate product, that is where the critical aspect lies. You're buying a whole experience. You're buying something which is valuable to you, which you cherish rest of your life. I think that is the space where Diamond fits in very well. It's about love. It's about eternal love. It's about celebrating a special milestone and special point in life.
Sorry, Pooja, you wanted to add something because I'll ask you.
So, just quickly adding to, I think in general, I think the industry needs to really, because today, when Devansh spoke about the D flawless type 2A, right? Today there's technology that's offering the same product at a very significantly different cost, right? And therefore, when somebody is going and investing a significantly high price for a natural diamond, paying that money, and then seeing that somebody who may not be of the same stature also being able to afford and buy a D flawless type 2A thanks to technology, the whole concept of rarity is suddenly evaporating in consumers' minds. And I think as an industry, therefore, we need to start thinking more of how else can you elevate the brand, the brand experience of what we're bringing in. Because at the end of the day, we are not here, nobody is just buying a stone. Nobody is buying just a lab or a natural diamond. They're at the end of the day buying jewelry. Now, what as an industry are we doing to further enhance this, to make sure that it is the brands that are speaking for a philosophy of their design, their take, their positioning, and why should I believe in paying the kind of price that I'm paying for this particular product? Like every component in a car, right? We spoke about Ferrari versus a Toyota versus any other. Components remain the same. So I think the narrative once changes from the component, from the commodity to the larger brand story, I think that's when both industries will be able to flourish and benefit from this $80 billion to $120 billion jump that India is going to see in the future.
In fact, from a design perspective, obviously with lab grown, you can experiment much more than what a natural diamond industry can do.
Yeah.
So do you think that is going to attract more consumers, and is that what the consumers are looking for today?
Yeah, so I mean, even just from our on ground experience so far in India, today less than 10% of Indian women have actually 80 billion, 88.5 is diamond jewelry sales. So less than 10% of Indian women have actually worn and afforded diamonds. But the aspiration for diamond, right? And again, I think we, like Sir said, we should stay away from discussing lab versus natural. But the aspiration of a diamond itself, and we all know they both are the same, is very, very high in our country. And today, tier 2, tier 3 cities, the kind of dispendable income that these, that women have in tier 2, tier 3 cities it's incredible, right? Now, their aspiration, so, when we had this data in our minds, we thought that lab grown diamonds will cater to the balance 90%. It will never go to the 10%. The natural guys will remain natural. Lab will become another market altogether who have never afforded diamonds. But in reality, what we saw today is 85% of the natural diamond consumers are also buying lab. And that's because there is a lot of design aspiration also that exists within every woman, right? Today I may have rounds, I may want fancy shapes. Today I may have 1 carat size diamonds, I may want a 3 carat, I may want a 5 carat. I have always aspired to wear yellow diamonds, I've always aspired to wear pink diamonds. So the aspirations are unbelievable, right? And the design scope that comes with technology is far higher, far better, and that is what the consumer wants. Today a non-aspiring, somebody who's never bought a diamond from a tier 2, tier 3 is suddenly being able to lap up and buy a diamond. And somebody who's bought a diamond is suddenly increasing their design aspirations through different forms and means of the product.
In fact, again, maybe, Tushar, you can talk about this from a concept perspective, because De Beers has always done marketing in terms of certain concepts, whether it's a 3-stone ring or whether it's a tennis bracelet or journey or Encordia or whatever it is. The fact of the matter is that they actually describe the design element to it, and also they actually create that aspiration. So do you think that there can be certain new concepts that can be built, which is built around just the natural diamonds? Do you see that as a possibility?
I can talk about legacy.
Sure.
Related to my legacy. So when we make something, design something or make a concept, we prefer natural diamond because we are talking about history.
Mm-hmm.
In history, there was no subject of natural diamond or LGD. There was only diamond.
Sure.
So how can we make any article, any product more valuable?
Yeah.
On a commodity, whether we make it with the gold or any other metal, how can we make it more precious? By adding diamond or any kind of precious stone. So there was a incident with me. Someone challenged that you make such kind of high value jewelry, and when you add some small diamonds to it, when a regular person is struggling to earn at least 10% of margin out of those diamonds, how will you make more money out of it? So then I added that let's create some design and creativity. When people with what people are selling it in a regular market will pay more premium to that. Then we started making some products related to our Guinness World Records.
Right.
So I made an article, Padmanabham Swami idol, where I added 494 carat of diamonds on it.
Wow.
And that was the answer to the person that 500 carat product can be made with a single article, adding a 500 carat diamond. It's not compulsory that you make only with necklace. Then let's say that a regular person selling that diamond for 20,000 rupees per carat, put it on any necklace. I charged a premium for 60,000 rupees per carat on it.
3 times.
3 times. Saying that when the person asked me, some of the people asked me that what is the value of, what is the material value of gold into it? What is the value of diamond? What is the making charges? What is the color stone? Then I told that this is not a metristic value.
Mm-hmm.
It is a value of concept.
Correct.
What we created is a concept. Everyone has gold, everyone has diamond, everyone has color stone. But we created a concept. What Mr. Amit told is right, that when you go and buy a car, we are not going to ask a price of tire or steering.
Sure.
When you go to Rolls Royce, you don't negotiate there. But when you go to buy a Alto, you try to negotiate even 10,000 rupees. So what happens here again is the concept. And again, when we make something, it makes a benchmark. I made an idol and I sold it successfully with a higher premium, and it had 494 carat diamonds. Now it went a benchmark for me. But now I created something which I cannot disclose, but I have put diamonds on an article with 1,600 carat diamonds on it, on a single product.
Wow.
A time will come when we'll showcase it to the world. But this is the way we can add a concept and we can take a value out of
But
it.
are they the wearable pieces or is just one of its kind?
No, it's one of its kind.
Sure.
See, what happens, wearable pieces also, what we launched is in Hong Kong with old European cut diamonds, an Eva necklace with this 615 carat diamond necklace.
Mm-hmm.
That idea comes to me out of two reasons. One, from my own family, like my mother, she told me that how much ever thousands of crores asset you have, I'm not going to carry your assets in my neck. Get me something which I can wear and showcase it to the world.
Right.
That I'm a mother of Tushar. I'm a wife of Tushar Agarwal. So out of that curiosity, I made Niva necklace, which is one of its kind and high value. So again, out of that necklace, if someone asks me that how many carat of diamonds are it, what are the color, these certificates, it doesn't work on it because it took me so many years to gather all those diamonds. So that's where we can charge a premium.
Storytelling, actually. That's
Storytelling,
what matters. Absolutely.
exactly, and in the
That's
emotions.
Exactly. Just one last question from me, then maybe we'll throw it to the audience and, any one of you can answer this. I always say that no woman needs a diamond, but every woman wants one. Having said that, the fact of the matter is in a market like India, there are only 30 million women who have the potential of buying diamonds, of which only 4 or 5% who end up buying diamonds. So that balanced 95% are, though they have the potential, they still are not buying diamonds. So further research was done to understand why was that happening. And what we realized was that the sweet spot for the Indian audience is about 30,000 rupees, 35,000 rupees, in which they could get a plain gold jewelry or with CZ jewelry. However, the moment they wanted to buy something meaningful in diamonds, they would have to spend roughly about 70,000 rupees, which they couldn't stretch themselves. Obviously, with lab-grown diamonds coming in, that aspiration is there for those balanced 95% to go in and buy it. Is there any way that, we can convert all of them, from just 5%, even if we can manage to make it to 10%? Is there any way that you see that? Because that's where the graph will go up again. Because unless we do that, it will stay there. And so, on a last note, any of you would like to say something about it?
Mr. Amit will be able to tell much better.
I'll give, and then Devansh, I can give you. I think that's already happening, in many ways. If you see organized retailers, say people don't buy because one is the availability, and Indian mindset is want to touch, feel, bargain, and buy. So basically, if you look at tier 2, tier 3 cities where the physical availabilities of the brands were not there, okay, now brands are already there. So there was a trust deficit. People used to not trust the local jeweler because somehow the perception is that maybe, our family jewelers would have taken something. But the trust deficit is coming is changing actually, because if you look gold, you have BSI hallmark, and there is in diamond or color stone, there's a certification. That's a shift is changing. There is a lot of changing happening because of one device concept. People are seeing through Instagram, Facebook, so that knowledge is actually, the world is becoming smaller. So I think with technology that is on the social media and the physical availability, that you see already a growth coming in. And if you see all the big brands, there is a growth trajectory. They're adding hundreds of stores. They want to double their top line in the next 5 to 6 years. So that's growth is happening. And also,
my question is more from the perspective of the industry mindset. We still believe in commodity selling rather than, and it goes right across. It's not, just the retailers or the jewelry manufacturers or the diamond merchants or whatever. The fact of the matter is, I always say that you can pull a rope, but you can't push a rope. And when I say that, what I mean is that today's world is that you need to pull your consumers into your stores through branding, through marketing, through, your design innovations. Only then they are going to come to your store. If you continue feeling कि मैं तो बेच दूंगा जो मेरे पास है, that if you're just going to push your sales, it's not going to happen anymore. And I think that's where that disconnect is still happening. Again, here to add, especially for our markets, is that, when we say that 54% of Indian population today is less than 25 years of age, and that's a fact, again. And in that, what we are saying is that either you are born before year 2000 or after 2000. Now, our next generation of buyers are all who have born after 2000. and we all sellers are all pre-2000. And I think that's where the disconnect is. And that disconnect needs to be bridged, because unless that is done through branding and marketing, it's not really going to take off. And I think that's the route that we all need to take. So that's what I wanted to
So
add.
Prasad, actually, honestly, here there is no one formula. You say that industry need to come together. Honestly, it is not going to happen. Okay, the brand need to think. End of
they
the
can
day.
do it on their individual
No.
basis.
So it is about the brand. It's about the last leg where what is actually customer is buying. Customer is buying from a brand, from the retailer, or the brand is there, and industry cannot take a load of it. Not DBS or anybody. Not anybody cannot do that job. Look at parallel industry. There is an industry body of automobile. They decide the price. They decide the subcomponent. No.
But they do their own marketing. What I mean is just that. I mean,
so
I'm not
brand
saying any
need to
industry
think.
body needs to do it. It's just
So
individually, all of us have to
individually,
have the
yeah.
mindset of branding
I
and
think
marketing rather than pushing a
my
commodity.
only, there are so many beautiful young minds here, and I think you need to, only one message I have to give, diamond, we say 150 years, but if you read about Indian mythology, okay, the diamond is Vajra, has been like, God old days, good old days, that is there. We have taught the world about diamond, okay. I think if you see the Indian idea of jewelry, it's about rituals, it's about auspiciousness, it's about, celebrating the, woman's life and milestone. But if you look at the Western idea of jewelry is very different. They are all playful, creativity. The source code is their own culture or their own root. I think one code which is Indian brands are missing actually is the creative or the design code. India is all sea of sameness, I say. If you take all the paper ads, cover the name, they all look the same. But as a young mind, I would challenge or I would encourage that you need to think that what is that India story you can build. Tell me why L'Oreal from Paris, why cannot be a jewelry brand from India? I think it is a moment. India has the beautiful craftsmanship. We, in terms of craftsmanship of making jewelry or cutting jewelry, we are the hub or the heart of it. So I think that's where we need to think, push our design ideas, design thinking, take inspiration from our cultural heritage, the art, flora, fauna, whatever we have in this market. And that's where I think the opportunity is all about.
I agree. So we can throw it open.
If I can just add one thing to this. So, I mean, your main question was naturally how can we reach out to more people and ensure that the people who are not buying, despite them being able to afford it, how can they start getting there? I mean, the first thing, of course, on a side note is they don't give us enough diamonds to to make for so many more people. So, but I think really the idea is to ensure that there is a different purpose and a new product reaching to different segments of the consumer. We don't want the same product reaching all the people that can afford it. If Rolex wanted to, they could make many more watches and satisfy many more customers in the world who desire to have a Rolex watch on their hand, or even more higher up the luxury chain, even more but I think the crucial aspect when it comes to these luxury products is to ensure that we can segment our product in such a manner that there is as much for that particular consumer segment that is available. And that, I think, is where even more diverse brand differentiations can make a difference. Today, any jeweler in the country, in India especially, is more or less selling the same product to the consumer, especially in our segment of solitaires. And what we realized is that there is a large scope of uninformed elements of the product that can actually build beautiful stories for the consumer. If there is a matching pair of diamonds, where did the two diamonds meet? How did it happen that they turned out to be alike? And who thought that these look alike, and who was the expert person who was able to identify their likeness to each other? And because of the product's such uniqueness. I think there is humongous scope for any retailer to stand up and say that I select my diamonds differently. You can have any kind of choice of selection pattern. I select diamonds that only have X amount of crown height, because they appear so much better in my style of jewelry, and there are only those many diamonds in the world that have that much technical
It's like
specification.
Tushar
It could
was
be
mentioning
anything.
that it took him 8 years to just source those diamonds.
Yes.
8 years. So obviously that intrinsic value goes really
Not
high.
8 years, sir. Much more than that.
Much more than gosh. Okay, there you go.
Good evening, everyone. As we bring this enlightening event to a close, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all who contributed to its success. First and foremost, our sincere thanks go to Mr. Ram, Mr. Apurva, and the entire GIA team for their unwavering support and presence, which made this evening possible. To our esteemed panelists, Dr. Prasad Kapre,